million people. There we go. All right. So if you have not liked the Paul and Saul website, please go to facebook.com/Paul and Saul and give us a like if you are on Facebook, of course. If you're not on Facebook, well, what can I tell you? Sign up and like us anyway. But anyway, you can see we only have 79 people liking us, which is pretty lame considering me and Paul are two of them. So we'd like to break 80 tonight. Go to the Paul and Saul Facebook page. On it, we post all the emails that we like to send, and I also post some interesting articles. So it would behoove you to go there to stay on top of everything that is going on that we feel is important. All right, let me type in the name. For a weather report, it is pretty snowy and pretty freaking bad news down here. We had a voluntary evacuation where I live and a couple of places around here, but we're not close enough to the water. We're not close to the water enough to care. But the snow's pretty crappy. It stopped snowing here, so that's good. It's snowing again, though. I went out and I had to shovel all the snow and dig the truck out, which, I gladly did without any complaining. My wife will attest to. I took the truck out for a little drive. It was okay. So the streets are terrible, but lucky we have a 1999 GMC Suburban, and it really goes really nicely through snow. So the truck is good about, 5 times a year. So what do you got? It's a leap year, so it'll be useless on 361 of the days. It'll just guzzle gas and be ridiculous, but when in the snow, it just goes right through it. It's ridiculous. I did my typical half-assed job of shoveling, and the truck just plowed through the rest of it like it was no problem. So it was pretty cool. Anyway, go over to the Paul and Saul Facebook page. Give us a like. We would like to get into the triple digits, but who knows if that's going to happen. We did it. 81 people. All right, so we broke 80. Let's try to get over 100, okay? To make Paul feel better. Paul hasn't been doing so well lately because his Dow 20,000 prediction is on hold. So until the Dow hits 20,000, I think everybody should tell their friends to like the Paul and Saul Facebook site. Here are the economic reports. ECB President Draghi is speaking at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What time is it over there? Where is he located, Draghi? Germany? Where is he? Italy? Where is he? I don't know, whatever it is. So that's like 7 o'clock or something over there. So he's going to be up into his, well, they don't eat dinner till late over there. But anyway, 1 o'clock Eastern on Monday, Draghi speaking. 10 o'clock, you got consumer confidence. That's during the session. So watch that if you're a trader. Wednesday, crude oil inventories, the FOMC statement, and the Fed fund rates. Paul, are they raising rates Wednesday?
They're absolutely not raising rates.
Not raising rates. Are they cutting rates again? Nah, there's no way, right? Okay, very good. So Thursday, core durable goods, unemployment claims, durable goods at 10 o'clock, pending home sales. And Friday, you got advanced GDP and a bunch of other stuff pre-market. But then you got a couple of things you got to just watch for if you're trading. Chicago PMI and the revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment. So usually I cut out about this time because Sunday nights are kind of busy for me. But because we're doing this on a Saturday night, I'm actually going to stay around and torture Paul and everybody else for the entire hour. So I will be here to add my 2 cents in. Hopefully some of it will be useful. And with that being said, I'll hand it over to Paul. He'll take it over, and we'll go from there.
Well, I thought you were just going to continue babbling.
Babbling. Are you kidding me? This is good stuff.
So greetings, everybody. Greetings from cold, windy Vermont, where we got an enormous amount of snow that can be measured in millimeters. Actually, can't be measured in millimeters. We got 0. So the snow went where it's needed least, and where it's needed most, it did not come. So I have my middle guy up here with me for the little daddy and middle child weekend. How come in my charts? Huh. I didn't know. Okay. So, as you can see on the screen, stocks had a huge day on Friday. We talked about this last week. We talked about it the week before that we're waiting for some kind of reversal sign, accompanied with some little panic and capitulation. If you read my blog on Wednesday, I will crow a little bit because I did nail the low. I talked about Wednesday being the internal or momentum low. Wait, was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday was that. I'm sorry, I wrote it Wednesday night. So I talked about Wednesday being the internal or momentum low.
And if you get the emails and you check the emails, you can see that I walked everybody through the bottoming process on Wednesday, how the big gap down was probably going to lead to a low, and watch for a move after 1 o'clock, and that's exactly how it happened. So I'm bragging too, especially since how wrong I've been. I have to at least brag a little bit. All right, I'm back on mute. It's like a 3-way call. Okay, goodbye.
Mute? Boy, Janine would pay a lot of money if we could mute you at will. So let's talk about last week first. Wednesday was a day at the lows. Remember, so I kept saying, as the market declines and the bulls can't put up a stand, you keep looking for the biggest decline of the whole big picture decline to signal a bottom. So we tried before. We never really had that really strong capitulation or panic. We certainly did Wednesday intraday. And all you have to do is watch any of the financial channels, and you could sense the panic. Not to mention that I got a call from both CNBC and Fox to come on Wednesday night for a special show, and that almost always signals the bottoming process when they finally get to me. Where did I go Wednesday night? I had UConn tickets, so my daughter took 2 friends, so I wasn't giving that up for anything. So what happened Wednesday? Well, intraday, we saw huge selling. We saw massive volume. We saw, I don't know, 40-something% of all stocks traded were at new lows. You're at when you get that stretched, you got one of 2 things happening. One is you're in the bottoming process, and that's usually pretty quick. Or 2, in the rarest of rare cases, a la 2008, a la 1987, I'm sure there's a couple more if I put my mind to it, the system just breaks apart and you collapse. Well, as you know, I've said this for weeks, I don't think this is anything more than a market event, and it's a kind of routine, regular, and I'll put quotes around a healthy correction, but for some reason has shaken people to the core. I think at the lows we were probably down, 13, 14%. In my 26 years and almost 26 and a half years in business, I've never had more calls, emails, and meetings from any decline than I did from this one, which to me, a total head scratcher. I cannot explain it. So part of my business comes from other financial advisors, and I had one advisor calling me in a panic, one by one pulling clients' money out of the market. When did that happen? Oh, that was on Wednesday. So something happened because the masses felt beyond, despondent, in a panic. I can't figure it out. And maybe we'll never know. But in any case, Wednesday was certainly a low. I'm not going to say it's the low because I don't think it is. I think it's the internal or momentum low when the vast majority of the stocks see their worst. But I can certainly make a case that we'll put in a secondary low. I don't know. Let's see. Wednesday was the 20th. So I will say somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks from last Wednesday. And Thursday was not a great and convincing day by any means, but we did rally. And Friday was a nice face ripper for the bulls. So let me just set one thing up, and then we shall dive in. Okay, that's a nice chart on populating. So let's check out Tiny. I don't think we got trend over 2, did we, during the whole decline? No, we didn't. So I forgot who wrote about it, or I'd give him credit.
We had an intraday.
What's that?
We had a high intraday spike, but we never had a trend over 2 signal. We had a couple of VIX signals, but they didn't really do so good until the last one. But no trend over 2s.
So guys, remember this. At lows, not every indicator we follow is going to flash. You'll never see 100% of the indicators flashing. I forgot who was it, Tom McClellan or Jason Gepford? Somebody reminded me of this. At the bottom in 2009, March of 2009, everyone disavowed that low because the put-call ratios were incredibly pessimistic, meaning people were really, really bullish at the low in March, and that didn't make any sense. And nobody can explain it now, what happened, but that confused a lot of people. Somebody else said, I didn't say this, that when the bottom comes, you really won't want to buy. And that's certainly true with March of 2009. So let's dive in. Friday was a really good day for the bulls. I heard people lamenting on Thursday. I was in the car. I went to the Cape for a meeting, and then Rhode Island for a meeting due to damage control for clients. And so I had a lot of time listening to Fox Business and CNBC in the car on Thursday, and they were lamenting that Thursday's move was crummy and it's only the crap stocks who are rallying. Well, when a bounce begins, what happens? It's short covering in the most beaten down, crummy names. Stocks you don't see the real quality stuff turn around first. It's the crap that turns around first. So Friday, look at this. You had, just like you never had a trend over 2, look at this. The trend was 140. I don't know why the trend was on the NASDAQ was over 7. I didn't read any articles about it yet, and frankly, I don't really care right now. But you had incredible breadth. I mean, that's almost 10 to 1. And that's a rare thing. So I feel good where we are. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some backing and filling early next week. Who cares? But we should not go below Wednesday's low soon, meaning the next couple of days to a couple of weeks. Maybe the rally continues up a little more. We pull back hard for 2 days, then we have a better rally. So let's dive in. Here's the Dow. So this is not the all-time high. This is the reaction high off the August low. Obviously, very formidable resistance here. How high can we bounce right now? We could retrace a third or a half of the decline that began this year. Up around what was that, 17.7 on the Dow. Could we go up 1,000 points from the low? Sure. And get back from 15.4 to 16.4? Sure. Can we get back to 17,000? Possible, but less likely. I'd like to see a couple of big green tall candles, and we haven't had one yet, so that's what we're on the lookout for. But you'll see the same thing. Stochastics, very oversold. Not classic divergences setting up yet. And now we're going to hopefully continue this rally. I hate the word hopefully. We should continue this rally. Here's the S&P. Looks a tiny bit stronger. Where can it retrace? Back in somewhere in the middle. Could it go back to 2,000? Possible, but not probable yet. The mids had a much better day. It's funny. So the mids, one of the keys to me that Wednesday was going to be the bottom. If you follow me on Twitter, I started talking about at midday that the small caps and mid caps were really outperforming for the second time in 3 days. And they led the way down. So the fact they were outperforming gave me a little comfort that we're close to the bottom. And they bounced really nicely so far. The Russell, same thing. They led the way down. They had 2 out of 3 nice outperformance days, and now they are beginning to go. And the Qs, same thing. They were the strongest index. So they're going to bounce, but I don't think they'll have the velocity of the other more beaten down indices. Europe, which I've said for a while, I just scratching my head. I don't have a strong opinion, so I haven't given one. Same thing here. A lot more damage done to Europe. Not an index I'm looking to buy yet. It's going to bounce, probably put in another low in the March-April timeframe. EEM, kind of same as Europe. More damage done. Could this be the final low in the bear market of EEM that began in 2011? Unlikely. But this is how bear markets will end, like this. I don't think this is the final low. Let me see. China. Nothing going on there. Anything exceptional. Russia. Nothing exceptional, although the bounce is pretty severe in Russia. The decline was pretty severe too. Nothing really exceptional there. Brazil barely could lift its head. So that's not a good sign. Let me just pause and look at questions. Jason, my back feels pretty good. I've been doing physical therapy, and I skied really hard today, so I'm 90% okay. I feel pretty good. A little sore right now. We skied hard today. Jan, I know there's a lot of snow in the Sierra. I'm trying to get out there March 3rd, either Squaw or Kirkwood or Utah, but I know. Everyone's getting snow but Vermont, which last year Vermont had all the snow nobody else did. Let's see. Burwell, do you feel the price action from Wednesday's low has been mostly short covering? Well, Burwell, as I said earlier, all the rallies begin at short covering, so yes, I do think it's a lot of short covering, but you should see some real buying towards the end of next week. But the true rally, I don't think it's underway just quite yet. I think to look more like a W than a V. And no, I don't think the Fed's going to raise rates. The next time the Fed could raise rates would be, I think they have a press conference in March, but not right here. Regarding the presidential election, it's going to the whole who's going to be president is irrelevant right now, and I don't think the market's going to care until you get past Labor Day. Now there's a rumor like Bloomberg's.
Did you get Bloomberg coming in now?
That's the rumor. Um, I think it's kind of too late for him. I think the time for him was to come in and during some of the debates, but got a lot of money.
I'll tell you this though, if he wins, got to stock up on 17-ounce and above sodas. Be like Twinkies, right?
He's got no.
They'll
I don't
become
think he has
rare.
any shot at winning.
What?
I don't think he has any shot at winning. I think it's too late for him. I think if he announced 10 months ago, he'd be the front runner. But I think it's too late, and nobody outside of the Northeast even knows who the guy is.
Oh, really?
And he's
You don't think?
he's shorter than me.
And he's what?
Shorter than me.
And that's impossible. But what do you think? No one has a Bloomberg machine outside of New York? What are you talking about? Nobody knows who he is.
A 0.0001 of 1%. The average person voting has no idea who Mike Bloomberg is.
And you think the average person knows who Trump is?
Of course.
Really?
So I did a talk Thursday afternoon to a rep of mine and a couple of clients. And these are not morons. They're college-educated, moderately successful people who voted who are moderate Republicans. And we started talking about politics. All of them said they're supporting Trump. And I said, are you guys out of your mind? And they all are totally behind Trump. I'm scratching my head. I could see the blue collar rank and file people supporting Trump. But the educated, I'm really surprised, and I guess that's a microcosm of the country. Trump is he's really striking the raw nerve of a lot of people have been frustrated, not only for Obama, to be fair, although I hate Obama, but I think Bush too. I think he's so anti them all, and you're getting a big population that's going to support him.
Well, maybe they're college graduates, but maybe they just have like theater degrees from Wagner or something. You don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I forgot about that.
All right.
Or maybe drove like bulletproof black Mercedes and had bodyguards, hoping someone would take it. Oh, whatever. All right, let's go on. Let's see. Is it possible there was a panic because most stocks were in declines? No, Burwell. I mean, panics are emotional affairs. People don't sit and contemplate the panic. The pain gets too great, and they just pull the ripcord. That's a panic. They don't analyze how much a stock's been down or what the market's doing, or they just are overcome with this get me out at any price thing. I also believe that, let me see what I have on this computer. And I don't. I also believe that a lot of the selling we saw was from sovereign wealth funds. Look and see Norway, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and one of Qatar. These are all oil or energy-related sovereign wealth funds. And with oil collapsing, I think they were selling stocks globally to fund their social programs. That's an opinion. I can't prove it. All right, let's see. So what would be the deal if we break and close below that Wednesday low, Paul? What's the likely outcome? Johanna, if we break, I'll use a SPY, all right? If we break this low and close below it, which probably happens in March or April, you're going to have a really quick whoosh lower and then reverse from there. So I don't see breaking this low unless it's like literally right now. But if we rally and hang out and then break it in a month or two, I think that'll be the final low, similar to October 2011. And the next, you wrote, sorry, Joanne, I didn't read. in the next week or two, that'd be really bad for the bulls. That would we would have a trapdoor elevator shaft to climb pretty quickly, I think. So Scott, your volume wasn't strong, but I'm not really worried about. I'm not a big volume person anyway, but I'm not worried about that here. We'll talk about. I think volume's going to matter more on this on the retest of the low, not so much here. And no, I don't think this still is not a bear market. Somebody asked about India. Here's India. Kind of looks like the U.S. a little bit, a little weaker. You have a retest the August low. I think it'll rally, but I don't think there's anything to glean from anything yet. Yeah, Benji, we're gonna Tiny and I are gonna do the bear market class. I promise you. Mm, Okay. Yeah, I forgot what website I keep looking at because I don't have my real computer here, but the website where there's money being bet on the presidency is the one that I think is more serious than the stupid Nielsen or Gallup or not Nielsen, Gallup or the other poll. I forget which one it is. Polls are nonsense to me. When you put your money where it is, I think it's more important. And right now, it's a Trump-Hillary final. Wouldn't it be great if Hillary gets indicted, dude? As she's winning the nomination, she gets indicted.
It's not going to happen.
And I know it's not, but I can dream. Come on, I can dream.
It's just wishful thinking from you, Hillary haters.
Yeah.
I mean, her daughter married a Jew, didn't she?
I don't know. If you say so, I believe you.
I know Trump's daughter married a Jew. I know that. But so he's trying to keep feet alive. But didn't what's her face marry a Jew? Does anybody know if Chelsea? Yes, she did. She says yes. Okay.
Wow. Good.
So
the question is, will the kids be Jewish?
Well, technically, by rabbinical law, it is the father. Everybody says it's the mother, but it's not. The father actually, by rabbinical law, is what makes the kid Jewish. Of course, it all depends how you raise them.
Right. Okay. Let's forge ahead because the dessert awaits me, and so does the bourbon. Let's see. 4 key sectors. Unfortunately for tonight's talk, we're not going to glean a lot because everything's going to look very similar. Here's discretionary. Looks like the market. Nothing to glean there. The SOX. That was the other one at the low on Wednesday. The SOX was performing a lot better. But anything to glean right here? No, I don't think so. It's outperforming in 3 days, but I don't want to read too much into this yet. Banks are really weak on the prospect of the Fed not raising rates 4 times this year. But nothing to glean there either. And the trannies, there's nothing going on. There's been some horrible earnings. Union Pac was just abominable. Couldn't even rally on Friday. Their earnings are terrible. And that's the big concern about our economy because the transports are so god-awful. But the consumer keeps plugging away. Let's bomb through this. Software, nothing to glean other than what we've talked about. Every rally for the last at least 4 years, software has been a leader. And Friday was a nice day in software. Telecom had a huge day for telecom on Friday. Anything to glean? Not really. There's only 2 stocks, really. AT&T looks really nice, and Verizon looks really nice. For full disclosure, I own both just because of the dividend yield. Diversified financials, stronger than the banks, but they kind of suck as well. So as we walk through the next couple of weeks, we got to think about what sectors to short if we do get this next leg down in a month or two. Let's see. We did discretionary retailers. They were like transport. They got crushed long before the market did. And anything going on lately with them? No, they stink. And the builders also got hit really hard lately, but there's nothing to glean either. Everything looks very, very similar. Internet stocks, which I still own, and anything to glean yet? Nope, they got hit, and they're just bouncing. They kind of stink. Industrials, anything to glean? Nope. Materials, everyone's looking the same, folks, so we're waiting for the groups to separate themselves. Materials, anything there? Nope. Energy, anything there? Well, energy bounced really hard. The whole world's been short energy. I'm probably the only idiot still owning a little piece of it. Energy bounced really hard Thursday and Friday. Although it doesn't look like it on the chart because they were so obliterated. But anything gleaned from there yet? Not really. Solar, while we're on energy, nothing there either. Just bouncing where it's supposed to. Defensive issues. The REITs surprisingly did not do well during the decline. They had a nice day on Friday. One day doesn't make a rally. Utes, on the other hand, Utes did really well during this decline. See, I think it's the only sector that really hung in. Utilities. Nice day on Friday. Wednesday it did not. Is now the time to buy the utilities? My view, absolutely not. I think they were the place to be during the decline, and now I think something else is going to lead. Staples, which I do own still. So Staples, it's just of all the sectors we followed, look what happened on Friday. Friday took out the highs for the week. So Staples really bucked the trend lately. Don't forget that. That's an important thing to note. If Staples really begin to lead over discretionary during the next rally, that will not be good for my bullish view. Because we see Staples have led since the decline really began. And I guess during the rally, at the end of the rally. But you want to see discretionary lead Staples, not the opposite. It's a much better market environment. Let's see. Gold. I've said it for a while. I said it all along. This was not the bottom in gold. This is not how gold bottoms. And I said, I don't know how it's going to look, but it ain't this. And then gold finally broke the lows early last week. I don't like the way gold still acts down here at the bottom. So I think we got further to go in gold. Did I miss any? Dude, did I miss any sectors? No? Okay, good. Let's see. I was going through the questions. IYR, May, we covered. Yeah, Dick, I know the fundamentals are bad in the trannies, but, I mean, the news has been reported is not indicative of how disastrous the trannies have been. I'm scratching my head. A whole lot of these charts show head and shoulders. I agree with that, Johanna. They do. The question is, will they repair them over the next 4 to 8 weeks? That's a question. It's not a statement yet. Paul, Dimitri, do I think the times of unstoppable rallies are far gone? Absolutely not. I said this a long time ago, and I wish I'd filed my own comments, that the market was being driven by QE, and when QE ends, the rally ends, and the market peaked when QE ended, and someone should have reminded me of these comments. But no, markets. I mean, the greatest bull markets ever have rallied without QE. So, like anything else, the market can take any kind of body blow. The market can't take it when it happens really quickly, like we're seeing in crude. Market will adapt and adjust, and it will rally again. And it will be crazy bull markets again. I promise you. Uh, let's see. Yeah, May, I know the Fed, Janet Yellen floated the trial balloon the last or two meetings ago about negative rates. It ain't happening now, but she left it on the table down the road. And if she doesn't walk that back at the next meeting, then I'll say they have a secret plan to go to negative rates when the economy weakens. Oh, I didn't cover healthcare and IBB. Thanks, James. MLPs. So I remain long AMJ. It's a buy to die position of mine. I mean, it's down. I don't know. It's got to be down 60, 70%. I own a 5% position. Actually, now it's down about 2% in my dividend portfolio. So it should bounce strongly, at least initially. Healthcare, I didn't talk about. Thank you for reminding me. Healthcare clearly it does not beat as hard as the market. So this is one that I'd put on my shopping list right now to keep a very close eye on. Is healthcare going to lead once again? Biotech beaten down, obviously worse than healthcare. But last 2 weeks, biotech. I emailed Tiny as this is happening. Biotech led the market on Wednesday. That was the first sector to go on Wednesday. So here was biotech. Biotech is melting up on Wednesday. So Tiny and I will look at some biotech stocks coming up. Okay, I covered all the questions. Let's go to other junk. Gold. Do I have an opinion on gold now? I don't. I'm sorry. It's just not a typical formation for gold. So could it go higher here? Yeah, we could go higher.
It's a small cup and handle if you really want to look at it, but it's not a good one. And silver is not playing nice. I think that it's gonna go. I think it's going low. Silver looks weak. Well, silver is weak compared to gold if you do the ratio, but I think that gold and silver both have lower prices. I still think gold dips under 1,000. I don't know if you still think that, but
yeah. So gun in my head, which I know you want to do sometimes, I would say gold sees its yearly low sometime in the March timeframe. And in my mind, I would think it's at new lows. So I just don't love the way it's trading. But it could go higher for a couple of days to a week. Crude oil, monster short covering rally Thursday and Friday. Is it done? I mean, it could certainly run up to $34 pretty easily. I mean, the world is short crude right now. So let's not forget this 3-day rally. This one, the one that got me good. So I thought this was the beginning of the real move. Then we consolidated nicely, nice little triangle pennant. We blew out, and then we just fell into our own weight again. Crude certainly should have some more upside to go. Hard to believe. Hold on. My wife calling me. Tiny, I don't know about you, but I don't think this would be hard to believe this is the final low in crude.
You can't get me started on crude because I am.
Okay, we won't get started.
I am a big time bear. I think that crude goes to, I called crude into the 20s when it was in the 60s and 70s, and I think that it's not done yet. But even if it is, and even if it is this low, I find it very hard to believe that we reverse from here, zoom higher without at least a test back, a W pattern, a double bottom, something. But um, I think that if we get a reversal candle into from a moving average or into resistance, I think it's going to be another short down to low 20s, maybe even $18. I mean, it would be so shocking to see it break $20. People would go into all out freaking panic mode, I think. I think they're
Although it's shocking to see it break 40 and 30 as well. Um,
Look,
yeah,
I'm not predicting it hits 18. All I'm saying is I don't think the downside, and I think that we can go lower or for at least a retest of that low. Maybe we retest, get a marginal low. Everybody's like, "Oh, we're gonna die again," and then we get the real bottom. I don't know. Doesn't look like this is the bottom though. But that's
I
my
also
oil. I don't have anything to say about natural gas. So
I think when oil does bottom, I think it's going to stay in 100% trading range for 3 to 5, 6, 7 years. So the bottom of 20, maybe the range is 20 to 40 or 20 to 50 for a long time. But I still think the dollar goes much higher, and the crude is not taking off in a strong dollar market. Here's Natty Gas. It's been tough in both directions. I want to think this was the bottom right here, but I don't like this. I said this last week. I don't like this decline. So I'll take a wait and see from here on Natty Gas. Copper, I've said forever, smart money's been long and wrong. Another shot, a reversal, but it wasn't really convincing. I think it's a pair of twos right now. Bonds. Here's TLT, which is just trading almost exact opposite of the market, flight to quality. I still own it, for full disclosure, not because I think it looks so great, but because my quantitative strategy liked it. Here's the yield chart of the 10-year. What do I think? No strong opinion at all on bonds. Whoops. AD line broke the August and October lows. Is there anything significant down here? Nope. I don't think so yet. Junk bonds. I am going to say this every week. I believe junk bonds will put in a major, I won't call it historic, but I'll call it a major low of significance the first 6 months of this year. And it'll be a trade that you can own junk bonds for 6 to 12 months with almost no downside and make 20% plus. So that's my feeling on junk bonds. So that's that. Oh my God, the dogs are barking. My buddy's got 5 Weimaraners. They do Weimaraner rescue. So my buddy who lives in Vermont just drove to Florida. Okay, he got in the car, drove from Vermont to North Carolina in one day, slept overnight, drove to northern Florida, picked up a dog, drove back to North Carolina, slept overnight, and then drove home back to Vermont to rescue a single dog. I think he's crazy. So now they have 5 dogs, 5 Weims in the house. Let's see. Okay. Somebody asked for the VIX. Here's the VIX. I mean, for the kind of decline we got, I'm a little disappointed that the VIX could barely get above 30. should have really spiked. So maybe it does on the next decline, which would be atypical. But I certainly would not want to be long the VIX right now. Let's see. Oh, I didn't do currencies. FXE, Euro, again, I think longer term, it's got a lot farther to go on the downside. Right here, I don't have a strong opinion. I could equally make the case that it falls and closes the gap here or breaks out to the upside. I do not have a strong opinion on the Euro. The yen, I emailed Tiny the other day. We were talking about shorting the yen up here. Hate the yen. As you know, I think it's going to go 50% lower. The loonie finally bottomed. And I think that is a play you can take on the long side here. You have 2 days up, and I think the loonie's going to bounce a little more. Same as the British pound. I think it's another one that I think has a little bit of legs here. The grains, not much happened in the whole, grain tropical complex last week. So here, I kind of like wheat. Here it is. Didn't do much. I'd probably give it one more week for the bulls to step up before I would walk away. Corn, same thing. Same thing, is a little stronger. We liked it last week. I still like it. I think it's got more legs. I give it another week. Beans, they didn't have an opinion coming into the week, and I don't have an opinion now. I'd rather own wheat and corn than beans. So what I like is this is how commodities bottom. They're long affairs. Sugar I've liked from the short side, and I still do. Smart money's been short sugar, and I think the next big move should be lower. Cotton's been all over the place, but should be trending lower. Do I have an opinion in the short term? Nope, nothing. It's been really sloppy and choppy. Cocoa got hit pretty hard last week and 2 weeks, and then bottomed on Thursday. So this is the kind of day where you're short, you break to new lows, you reverse, and you cover your shorts and stand aside, or you go long with half the money you did on the short side. So that's how it works with perfection. Let's say you were long here, you get stopped out and short there, and then you can ride it down. But right now, I would not be short cocoa. I'd probably give it a shot to the long side. Where coffee, we came in last week saying it should go lower. And what did it do? And it did nothing. So we broke and we bounced. Now I'd say it's a crapshoot. No real opinion on coffee. These kind of suck. I like it when these things get into these hyperbolic modes. A lot more fun to trade. Oops. Questions. Let's see. Joanna, junk has some real divergence. The short-term oscillator, does that bother you looking to go lower?
Had it last week too. Couldn't get much out of it, but it had that divergence last week. It has it again this week too.
What does?
Junk.
Oh.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of divergences. Most have just led to little bounces that failed. My guess is here you have a little more of a divergence of significance, but it's not perfect. What's the matter, buddy?
Preston and Max.
They're not.
Yes, they are.
They're being adopted? Oh. All right. Dude, I'm going to let you finish up. I'm done, but 2 of the dogs are getting adopted right now, so I'm going to go say goodbye. So you want to finish up? Tiny?
Yeah, I'm here.
You want to finish up?
I thought you were finished, but I'll take questions.
I'm in a hot because the two dogs that are here are being adopted literally right now. I want to go say goodbye to the dogs.
All right, have fun.
All right, later.
All right, so I'm still here. I just gotta. Hold on one second. All right, I'm here. Since oil is down, the U.S. CAD goes down. Why do you think CAD will go up? Oil's still going down. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody read the news that cauliflower is going for $8 a head in Canada. Anybody see that? But yeah, the loonie. Wow, if I could say it. The Canadian dollar, aka the loonie, is a commodity currency, they call it. Oil plays a big part of it, but U.S. versus Canada here. Okay, so the U.S. is getting stronger versus the Canadian dollar. That's what the USD CAD is showing. Okay, so the first part is what you're betting will go up against the second part. All right, so that's why the US versus Canada is rising, because the dollar was getting stronger against the Canadian dollar because oil was weak. Like Paul said, you had short covering the end of last week in oil, and look what happened to the USD versus the Canadian dollar. So I was fundamentally bullish on the dollar CAD, but when I wrote the article, which is on the blog, which you should all be reading, paulandsaul.com/blog, that it was this is what I called it on the blog. You can go see it. It's on there, because this was a technical pattern. It was a beautiful bull flag. I didn't talk about the fundamental reasons because it's too much to get into. And, look, there's no shortage of Forex experts out there. I'm not a Forex expert. I trade the charts. I just look for patterns to set up on the currencies that have volume, right? I'm not looking for the Danish krone versus the, whatever it is, the Swedish krone versus the Hong Kong dollar, right? I'm not looking for them. I'm looking for especially the pairs, right? So it's a pair if it has the dollar in it. It's a cross if it doesn't have the dollar in it. That's the rule. That's how I learned it 15 years ago, whatever the heck it was. So I look for the pairs first. I look for anything with the dollar in it. And yeah, like Mark says, he sticks to the 6 major pairs. I mean, it's, look, they pattern up the best. They have the best. They have the best volume. The blog is, Paul. You guys should all be going there. I mean, I always send emails when they get updated, but it's paulandsaul.com/blog. That's the blog. And I try to get Paul to write stuff, but they're mostly my stuff, mostly my things. But sometimes I'll ask him for opinions on stuff I'm writing, but most of it is just me. And Paul has his own blog, but that's for his business. We're trying to expand the Paul and Saul name a little bit this year, so I'm trying to build the blog up. I originally had like an unrealistic expectation of writing 300 articles this year. I'm just not going to get that done. So I didn't really say it. I didn't make the commitment to it. But I thought it. But I'm going to try to do. I'd like to do average one a week, maybe a couple a week, maybe 100. I don't know. But whatever it is, that's paulandsaul.com/blog. I think right now it's pulling back. I think if you're looking at for dollar CAD, I think you have to watch where the breakout happened here as support. If it holds that support, then I think it could turn back up. Tiny, you think GE's big earnings down is an indication of further downside for the time market? No. No, I don't. Let's look what GE did off of those earnings. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think one stock can call it. I don't think that, I think those days are long gone. There's too much splitting up with certain companies acting on their own, based on their own stuff, not have to do with overall market influence or as a barometer or bellwether for the entire market. I think the bellwether, you could have individual bellwethers like software bellwethers or tech bellwethers, but whole market bellwethers are tough, and even sector bellwethers are few and far between. Look at this Apple. I really thought it would get down to 90, but it never did. Never even got down to this 90, whatever this was, 92, whatever it was. Yeah, 92. Nice squeeze on Friday. I don't think it's out of the woodwork yet. The woodwork. Wow, I don't think it's out of the woods yet, but it's a good start. There's a nice sharp impulse move. Any other questions? Questions, comments, anything? Yep. For the Inner Circle members, I have a special mastermind at 1:20 p.m. You could get information on the mastermind at winningedgetrader.com. There you go. It's at 1:20 in the afternoon because of the football games. I don't want to, people were asking. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Take care, and we'll see you next week on Sunday because next week is the in-between. That's just the All-Star game. I don't, whatever you call it. The All-Pro, whatever it is. Pro Bowl. But for the Super Bowl, we'll probably do it on a Saturday again, just like this. So probably not going to do it on the week of the usually for the Super Bowl, I usually do it at halftime, but it just doesn't make sense. So we'll just do it on Saturday again. All right. Take care.